Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So, unless you've been living under a rock for many, many years, you probably understand that there's a movement on 3-day weekends. And I actually kind of disagree with the way they're going about it. And I first recognized another solution when I was only 10 years old, actually. What had happened was we would have a long weekend, right? Maybe it was a holiday, maybe there was like some kind of a teacher event, right? We had a lot of those. I grew up in Pennsylvania. I believe they called it an Act 80 day. It's some kind of a teachers meeting of some sort, or some kind of training event for the teachers. And we would get a 3-day weekend as a result, right? I was kind of introverted at the time, so I really loved those because I got to stay home alone, right? My dad's a chemical engineer. My mom took a job at a retail store at one point, and I just had the home to myself, and that was always a fun time. I would watch TV and see things that I never on TV that I never seen before, and just fool around, right? But I loved that part of the equation. But then we would go back to school. Usually it was a Monday that we had the Act 80 day off, if I remember correctly. And then we go back for a very short week, only 4 days. I didn't really not necessarily need to have a 4-day week, right? I was still up for 5 days of school. I just wanted that long weekend. And it made me realize, why not have both, right? They're not mutually exclusive, right? You can work 5 days and then take a 3-day break, right? Even today as an adult, I still feel that way, actually. So, this past month, we just had Labor Day, and it was nice to have a 3-day weekend. Although I would have preferred if it weren't on Labor Day, right? Because a lot of things you can't do on Labor Day. You can't go to the bank. There's no DMV. I love making metal casting art. I go to the bank to get pennies for the zinc, right? And sometimes copper as well. And I melt them down. The bank's not going to be open on Labor Day Monday. I mean, granted, I can go a different day to get the pennies to melt during that weekend. You get the idea, right? A lot of things don't flow as easily because it's Labor Day, but it was still nice to have a 3-day weekend. But then we would go back to the office, and it was a 4-day weekend. That felt like a waste. I work with computer science, right? And a lot of times, 4 days just isn't enough to build up a train of thought, right? In a previous life, I worked at a tech startup, and 4 days is just a waste. By the time you pick up any train of thought, your week is over. And it made me think, why can't we work 5 days and take a 3-day break, right? And unfortunately, not too many people are thinking about this. I think we could have a 3-day weekend every week if we still work 5 days, right? It would be the best of both worlds. We wouldn't lose any productivity, and I'll let you do the math. But I think you could still work. Now you might say, well, then there would be fewer weeks in the year, but at the same time, you can get rid of a lot of holidays that we're already taking to make 3-day weekends, right? Because every week is a 3-day weekend, right? So, and not to mention, people would be well rested. These last couple of weeks have been just really kicking me down, right? The week would start before I'm ready for it. I start the week in a bad footing and then repeat, right? I've been on this kind of treadmill for 4 or 5 weeks now. I really could use a 3-day weekend just about now, right? And why not, right? I'd love to take a 3-day weekend if it didn't entail having to give up a day of the work week, right? And it shouldn't have to, right? So please sign a petition to put an extra day in between Saturday and Sunday. Now, the days of the week, believe it or not, are named after astronomical objects, right? Sunday is named after the sun. I believe Saturday is named after Saturn. I think Monday is named after the moon. I can't remember the other days of the week. I think if we added an extra day between Saturday and Sunday, we could call it Ice Day because we don't have any days of the week named after the ice giants of Uranus and Neptune, right? Or we could add 2 more days to the week and make a 4-day weekend. If we could name one day after Uranus, Uran Day, and Nepto Day, right? reimbursement for the 2 extra days. So you say Saturday, Urena Day, and Nefto Day, and then Sunday, right? And then we can have a 4-day weekend without having to give up our 5-day work week, right? I think that could solve a lot of problems, actually, right? Of course, everybody has to jump on board the spaceship at the same time, or else everything explodes, right? Because we're so interconnected. Uh, It'd be nice if we had somebody powerful enough to just flip that switch, right? And jump right on board, right? It's kind of like why we can't get rid of daylight savings time, no matter how much sense it might make, right? I kind of got excited when I saw a lot of people were migrating from California, from Texas into Arizona. I kind of got excited because if everybody in the United States started moving toward Arizona, maybe we could actually get rid of daylight savings time, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.